9 to noon Enterprises, boom, is in the air and on the radio and on the free iHeart audio app. So what do we do now? 9 to noon style, where do we go from here? What do we do now? NBA Finals dead. Stanley Cup Final dead. Your love we lost may be Karl Anthony Towns or Sam the man who used to play on the Fan. Ours right here in the state of the 9 to noon presentation. Ours right here, ladies and gentlemen, are unveiling pertinent core 4 topics that somehow have become part of the undearly departed.
Oh my God.
We know.
Above average.
9 to noon. Do your jobs and use the creative wherewithal with which God blessed you to make some people meter loving plays or take days off.
I always love that one.
But anyway, 3-2. Do we happen to have a working cell phone number for Olivia Miles? Working cell phone number for Olivia Miles. Just buried Bridget Carlton and that Portland group last night. That could be an option. Moving forward with where do we go from here? Maybe that's the answer. You think Shelty will join 9 to noon every single day?
I always love that one.
Twins last night got another W. Beat Mackenzie Gore, the former Ratty Natty. Beat a bad and getting worse Rangers team. Shelty. Have a working cell phone number for Dustin Morse.
Yeah.
Maybe we call Cherie DeVoe and see what old Golden Tempo is up to these days and how much money they think he'll scoop when he mounts mayor after mayor after mayor.
I always love that one.
It's At the Races every Wednesday at 11 with Paul Allen and Irad Ortiz Jr. At the Races is sponsored by You Pull Our Parts and all of our show bets, and by Triple Crown Horse Feed. We feed the horses as you feed the ATM looking for some more Pick 5 money.
I always love that one.
I have a cell phone number for Mike Yo. Yozy. Maybe a covenant catch-up with Mike Yo. Where do we go from here? NBA Finals, dead. Stanley Cup Final, dead. Training camp on the horizon for the Minnesota Vikings. Yozy, assistant coach for the Ottawa Senators. Hey, Yozy, is it true Brady Tkachuk is bored with you guys and may end up here?
I always love that one.
Probably not the best way to start a conversation. Where do we go from here, Nordo?
Where do we go from here? You know, we could call Dean Evison. How about we just go down the line of former Wild coaches? We've had Gabby on. We could have Mike Yo on. We could call Dean Evison, ask him, you know, is Flin Flon really a city in Manitoba, or have you been running a flim flam on us for all these years? Core 4. It's the summertime.
Flim flam, flim flon.
How about this? A little bit of a throwback. Because it's mid-June. And Core 4, where do we go and what's next for Minnesota sports? Maybe we can deviate. We can call up Jack and Ben again, PA, and see if we can do A-section selections and then have Jack anger half the listenership.
We already have somebody in one of these 2 chairs that managed to do that with 0.8% of the listenership.
I always love that one.
0.9, yet 98% of Bot Nation worldwide.
I always love that one.
You mentioned Morse.
I do always love that one, by the way.
And whether it's Pablo getting the chance to chat with Buck. Who's in the cold tub right now, Mr. Morse? Who is it?
Oh, Matinee Ketchups.
Matinee Ketchups.
Hey.
Some Twins cold calls, and then we can finally meet and know who Ryan Kreidler is, or Alex Jackson,
right.
Or who's the best Kyler in town? Is it Kyler Murray or Kyler Fedko of the Minnesota Twins?
Holy cow, what a pull that was with the Fedco card.
Some cold calls with Morse, potentially, is an idea. Now, I like this one. I saw him recently. Roy Smalley in studio.
Ooh.
It's a hair off. It's a hair off. Roy Smalley, all these years, still the best kept hair I have ever seen.
No doubt.
It's immaculate.
Let's plan that for somewhere July 13th through the 22nd.
I always love that
Maybe
one.
we can do it multiple times. I wonder if David Adelman is still sour. Our Hal bounced his Nuggets. I mean, David Adelman, old schoolers know, don't at any of us. Used to come on the show quite frequently as assistant coach for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Little sweet Georgia Brown, maybe?
Now he's head coach for the Denver Nuggets. Elite NBA mind who is excellent on the radio or the audio. And we have a working cell phone number for David Adelman. Give him a call. David, NBA Finals, your thoughts. David, share some memories of basketball immortality, your dearly departed father, Rick. Then a couple of throwaways. David, what in the heck happened to you guys in round one? You needed oxygen tanks on the bench just to get through free throws at the end.
I always love that
I'm
one.
so sad and sorry it ended that way for you. We could call Gibby, Kyle Gibson.
Yeah.
We have a working cell phone number for him. But he might not be interested unless it's faith in goal and or a gospel-centric conversation. Covenant catch-up with, how about this? Covenant catch-up with Uncle Gene. Uncle Gene as in Gene Deckeroff. The recently retired Tampa Bay Buccaneers elite box.
Where does he park the bus now?
We can call Uncle Gene to see how his pansies, tulips, and hydrangeas are blooming down Tallahassee way. He retired after close to a half century, calling Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Florida State Seminoles football.
Fire the cannons!
He'd probably help us through a difficult time. He's like that. And the Bucs are on the schedule this year. I think it's September 27th for the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe Uncle Gene retired because, I don't know, he doesn't like Baker.
I always love that one.
Maybe he got tired of getting stiff-armed by Baker for post-game interviews.
I always love that one.
3, 2, 1, fire Baker, not me.
You know, maybe something we could try this summer. How about Rick Brunson? Rick Brunson here as an assistant, I believe, for several years, 2016, 2018-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Oh, that's right.
Now he's watched his son find the Larry O'Brien trophy.
Yeah.
And
How'd you do it?
How'd you do it, Dad?
Yep. Do you know anything about hockey? How can they do it? Know anything about football? How can they do
How
it?
can they do it?
When and how?
Do you know anything about the baseball team?
Yeah. When and
Some
how?
things can't be helped. When and how?
Uncle Gene.
Where do we go from now?
Uncle Gene Deckeroff. Maybe the Mike Evans move to San Francisco sent the man straight into retirement. Uncle Gene, though. We need a third uncle for a 9 to noon Uncles Only Day.
We do.
Uncle Gene.
Okay.
Football from the lap of Uncle Norv.
Yes.
Who else?
Ooh.
We need a
Who
third
else?
uncle. It's Uncles Only Day 9 to noon, which sadly has caused all of you to say, Uncle with the radio dial.
I always love that one.
Went right back to that playlist, didn't you? The old mid-July Uncles Only Day 9 to noon.
Does it have to be?
We got Uncle Gene Deckeroff.
Yes.
Stories from the lap of Uncle Norv. How about Uncle Gary Kubiak?
Ooh, Uncle Gary.
Uncle Gary.
Yeah, Uncle Gary's for real.
What about Ron Stolsky? Uncle Ron Stolsky.
Stolsky would be terrific.
Maybe Bernie Kukar on the regular to talk about officiating in every single sport. Uncle Bernie.
Well, Bernie's the clear answer.
Yeah, it's uncles
He
only.
might be a grand uncle at this point.
Talkbacks for sure and a bevy
Skiing
of
in
them.
Aspen.
Talkbacks for sure and a bevy of them during this course of time at FM 100.3 KFAN for the 9 to noon radio show.
Is Josh Duhamel available?
Josh Duhamel is, I believe, always available.
Because, I mean, you know, whether it's the Uncle's Corner, we could do the Actors Studio, too. Get him in. He's probably got some cool project coming up. Adam Bartley may have a new episode of Chicago Med to promote and some acting classes locally. We could do a little Actors Studio in the summertime.
Hey, Josh and Adam, how come you weren't faux fans in the first row at Madison Square Garden?
I always love that one.
With all them A-listers causing 9 to noon to unfurl a FISA, Fairness and Spike Lee Act, who wasn't getting any love or didn't get to touch the trophy. And he's OG Knicks fan all the way back to Reggie Miller scoring 8 points in 8.5 seconds in 1995. What are you guys doing? Talkbacks today and definitely part of this equation. It's important to 9 to noon. Those who take time to listen to the fan, they need to be heard. And today is a Northern Fire Talkback Tuesday. Today, by the way, in very low-key fashion, we are finalizing the mini-series When and How and When. The Vikings are the bill of fare today, 9 to noon. We'll set that up next segment. So please don't leave. We're not doing the uncle's bit today, so don't say uncle to the radio show. Probably never will do it. We all need each other. Let's think about it. We all need each other. So much so, we have opted to give you a gift. We have a Talkback winning prize, and here's the con.
Yeah, it's a Talker Tuesday presented by Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply. So you hit that microphone on the app. You give us up to your best 30 seconds. We will play it. I believe you know how that works. But at the end of the show today, I'm going to give away a $25 gift card to Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply. You can either use it in their store in Minnetonka, or you can pop online, northernfirebbq.com. So get those talkbacks fired up.
The 9 to noon set list, what's on deck 9 to noon, provided each and every day by TimberTech and TimberTech.com.
Oh, the text line's going to be gold. Uncle Brent Musburger.
Uncle Brent, how can I forget Uncle Brent?
Come
up
on,
there
man.
in Montana with Phil Jackson. Are you kidding me? Uncle Brent, thank you, 64686.
Troy boy.
Where do we go from here? I guess that can be a dealer's choice talkback option on a Northern Fire Talker Tuesday. Thank you, TimberTech. The scribe, Ben Gessling, covers the Vikings for the Star Tribune. He'll be in studio at 10 o'clock. And also, Indianapolis Colts offensive tackle Jalen Travis joins 9 to noon today. He has a leadership summit at De La Salle High School in Minneapolis, June 26th. That Jalen Travis, formerly of De La Salle High School, Princeton, and then Iowa State. Second year in the NFL. Started 4 games last year for the Indianapolis Colts. He was the left tackle playing next to the beast Quentin Nelson at least one game, blocking for Phillip Rivers. He got a chance to play left tackle for football immortality. Jalen Travis, 11 o'clock today. Nordo produces, and I'm Paul Allen. Minnesota Vikings, when and how and when. That's next at FM 100.3, KFAN, and good morning. So, when and how and when for the Minnesota Vikings? The Super Bowl, as in the Super Bowl, like this year, scintillating at SoFi. Super Bowl slogans required one of these days. If so, how? And that's part of the Talkback equation, free iHeartRadio app. Old schoolers know what to do. You see that microphone? You got up to 30 seconds to share. It's a when and how. When does it happen and how? How do they craft a team good enough to get to the Super Bowl? And that's part of the talkback equation. Maybe after the 2027 season, where's the Super Bowl in 2027?
I will look up the list
Atlanta.
Of confirmed ones.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta. It's Mercedes-Benz Atlanta, 2027. Winning is the word in the home of the Dirty Bird. The Knicks and Canes just closed on titles 3 months and change after Sam, the man who used to be on the Fan, took home the Lombardi. So how do the Vikings get to the Super Bowl, and when does it happen? You know, the game Sam Darnold just 3 months and change ago housed. And we hit that same talkback yesterday with the Wolves and the Wild. The Twins are doing well of late. Meatloaf, the Redbirds, got the money against Mackenzie Gore last night. But with respect, probably, most likely, are not winning or getting to the World Series this year. And this is a core 4 of Minnesota's pro sports talkback talker, courtesy of Northern Fire on a Talker Tuesday. Wild, Wolves, Vikings, and Twins, the teams people pay the most attention to. You know, the talkback machine also can act as a symbolic therapeutic Davenport of love. And here's what we mean. They leave the nest. We're just going to get this out of our systems. It's a yearly occurrence. It's like it's a yearly occurrence. It's they leave the nest and come home with all the money. It's becoming a yearly occurrence, and it's quite alarming, actually. So, via the talkbacks, if so inclined, tell us if all this bugs you, and if there's a way to make it change. And there it is. Cat leaves the Covenant, wins a title with the Knicks 2 seasons later. Darnold leaves in 25, party with the Lombardi in 26. Kevin Love leaves the Wolves in 2014, hoisting the Larry O.B. in 2016 with Cleveland, with the Cavs. KG, Kevin Garnett, leaves in 2007. He's hoisting the Larry O.B. with the Anything's Possible, yes, with the Boston Celtics, 07 to 08. David Ortiz, he leaves in 02 and wins the World Series with the Boston Red Sox in 2004. I told Percy Harvin leaves in 2013, and he's a Super Bowl champion with a kick return touchdown executed by Percy Harvin right up the middle of the field with Seattle in 2014. Andrew Wiggins leaves the nest, leaves the pack. He was running with the pack. Wolves Nation, Hal Nation, leaves in 2020. Wins a title with the Golden State Warriors in 2022. That's talkback number 2. Eliminating Minnesota from the feeder market for dreams chat. Just cut us right out that chat because it's happening every single year. Block us. Stop departing and leaving us on red. Are we forever a feeder marker for others to accomplish dreams at the very highest level? And if so, why? And how does it stop? Back to the lesson at hand momentarily. The Vikings and when and how and when, scratching a statewide 35-year itch, getting to the big game for them for the first time in a half century. So how do we become, with that football team, and for the sake of the talkbacks, how do we become the belle of the ball, the cream of the crop, the best of the best, instead of us being sports voyeurs, sports onlookers, and innocent bystanders? How do we get into these championship series and or the Super Bowl for the football team and all of them? No titles in 35 years. Truly, that's hard to do. That really, really is amazingly hard to do when you have a core 4 of pro sports teams. But here we are, sweating on the regular, as in the regular season, and not posting up at the right time, as in the postseason. Does all this frustrate you? Talkbacks. First, FIRA. F-I-R-A. FIRA. Buffalo's about to catch a stray.
Uh-oh.
Fairness and Reality Act. It's FIRA. It's a treat and super cool. Yeah, let the realistic nature here is it is a treat and super cool. We have 4 pro sports teams to sweat.
Yes. We
could be Buffalo with just 2, and neither has ever climbed to the top. This is absolutely astounding. And we reside and sweat teams in this feeder market for others and their dreams coming true. But I mean, we got 4, we have a core 4 of pro sports teams. But I mean, at least somebody housed one 2 times. The consider this, Buffalo with 2 pro sports teams. The Bills and the Sabres. They have 122 years of L after L after L. The Bills are 0-4 in the Super Bowl, and the Sabres are 0-2 trying to get to the top. I wonder how New York's sports giant 550 WGR handles that piece of Loserville, USA.
Yeah.
122 combined years with no titles.
It's nuts.
It's like they got something out there called the Jeremy and Joe Show. The Jeremy and Joe Show at WGR has lots of Loserville to discuss. Their set list might look like make the Bills better, how and when for the Sabres, make the Sabres better, talkbacks on both, who pines for the days of Gilbert Perreault.
I always love that one.
Remember, Jeremy and Joe are like, remember when we had the NBA's Buffalo Braves? That was cool. And they sold out all the time, and everybody loved them. Well, they were in Buffalo for 8 seasons, never won the division, never won a single playoff series, and bolted to San Diego to become the Clippers.
I always love that one.
Take that, Buffalo. Who's Jeremy and Joe Show? WGR 550. New York sports giant. Who's better and why? Talkbacks. Jim Kelly or Josh Allen?
I always love that one.
This is Jeremy and Joe on Western New York sports giant WGR. We're not that. FIRA, Fairness and Reality Act. We are not that. And that's cool. But we still have a high quotient of Loserville, USA to us, right? Like close but no cigar. Good, but not good enough. When and how and when for the Minnesota Vikings? When did they climb to the top, and how?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, you also have me thinking about Cleveland a bit and thinking about how you get over that hump. When and how?
Yeah, because they did.
10 years ago.
Yeah, but they did.
Right. But it took LeBron. It took LeBron and a young, feisty Kyrie to dig that city and that fan base collectively. And they're not core 4. Technically there's the Blue Jackets now, but really the core 3 that they have in Cleveland. It took freaking LeBron to get them out of the basement. Now, from a Vikings perspective, here's a talkback.
What's up, PA? What's up, Nordo 9 to noon family? I'm 24 years old. There's probably a lot more people listening out there right now, a lot more committed to the bit than I am with Vikings football. But honestly, I don't know if there is a when or a how with this Vikings team. I think we're just doomed for disappointment each and every year. It feels like they would just want to rip your heart out, and I think that that's what's going to continue to happen. I don't know. Skull, I suppose.
Skull, I suppose.
The voice of the Vikings.
Holy, hey, man, thanks for sharing from your heart. Painful as that may have sounded, and hopefully unrealistic as impression fashion it ends up being. I mean, my man just brought it via the talkback machine and was telling the truth. That's how he feels.
Well, the worrisome aspect of that, though, is he's only 24, PA.
Right.
I'm sitting here, and it's still every Viking season. There's a shred of optimism and there's a hope. This team has really very rarely ever been truly incompetent. You rattle off 5, you're 9-8 a year ago, chance to bounce back. Let's figure out the QB and we can be a playoff team again. He's only 24 and he's already resigned this thing to true, total, utter destitution, for all time. For all the future. I
think he's tired of having somebody blow a vuvuzela in his ear.
I always love that.
And he just took it out on us in the talkback machine.
There's probably part of that too. Oh, big ideas via the talkback machine.
Minnesota Vikings.
Oh.
How and when starts right now.
Yeah.
Go get Brendan Sorsby in this year's supplemental draft.
Oh, jeez.
Give KOC one more year, and that's this year, to prove that he can win in the playoffs. And if he can't get it done, let's go get Kurt Cignetti. Let's give him a shot. That's the how and the when, and it starts right now.
Sorsby?
Why don't you give me half the money you were going to bet? Then we'll go out back, I'll kick you in the nuts, and we'll call it a day.
Sorsby back to pass, puts Calvin Ridley on a double move. Ooh, Jamison Williams fell.
Why don't you give me half the money you were going to bet?
Yeah, that sounds terrific.
The how for how the Vikings win a Super Bowl is to go out there and find a used DeLorean, take it to Dr. Brown and have him turn it into a time machine, go to March of 2024, and instead of spending money on Allen and Hargrave at all, spend the money on Sam and have our franchise quarterback who can lead us to the promised land.
You didn't go the right way. You went backwards.
Does it make you feel superior to tear down people's dreams?
And that's fine, because people emote their frustration in different ways. Yeah. But the how and the when and the how for the football team, like the basketball team and the hockey team yesterday.
Does it make you feel superior to tear down people's dreams?
Supposed to go forward with the when.
Yes, indeed.
You have any suggestions over there for when and how?
When and how starts with solidifying the draft. So for me, this is a multi-year project for the Purple, in my opinion. And so as excited as we are for Big Citrus, as excited as we are for Caleb Banks, get him healthy, get him happy, get him on the field, solidifying the draft. This draft has to stick. And then guess what? 2027 has to stick. It's those sorts of things. But I truly believe that it is the basics of developing organic, drafted talent to this team with the pieces that already exist. And then I just need the coach to solve the QB problem. I mean, this is, again, a team that's never in the basement, rarely in the basement, picking top 5, to a team that has fallen short of the ultimate prize. You know, living in this purgatory-like universe sucks at times. It's just awful, because you're good enough to earn games in January, but you're not good enough to win those games, advance, and find your way into early February. So it's just an awful place to be in. Now, again, I think I'm not going to say it's easy, but it is achievable. And we've seen it with the drafting of the Seattle Seahawks, the defending champs. We liked it so much we got their assistant GM to become our GM. We've seen it with the Rams. Now they're getting to flipping picks again, but we saw what they have built over the last 3 years in the draft with the pieces they've brought in around it. So let's hit these drafts. Let's keep these pieces happy that we have, solve the QB, and I believe we're a legitimate late January conversation topic.
When and how for the Minnesota Vikings? When do they climb to the top, and how do they get there? I mean, we just witnessed the New York Knicks win an NBA championship for the first time in X amount of years. How long was that?
53 years.
53 years. Use that as motivation, because you all probably watched it. Carolina Hurricanes, they've won 2 titles in the last 2 decades. I mean, the how and when could be even just like getting there, being scintillating at SoFi, and the worry about the winning later. But that is the talkback du jour for a Northern Fire Talker Tuesday. We have a prize attached to it at the end, and we'll continue this frivolity when we continue on KFAN.
Another World Cup watch party on Friday at 2 p.m. I'm going to be yours truly, Nordo. Hi, good morning. Thanks for listening to 9 to Noon. I'm going to be at Dugarell's in Hastings. It's an afternoon kick, 2 p.m. End your Friday a little early. Head to Dugarell's in Hastings. Let's watch Team USA beat Australia. And we'll have games, prizes, and drink specials rooting on the red, white, and blue. So check it out. See you at Dugarell's in Hastings this Friday at 2 p.m.
With the when and how and when for the Minnesota Vikings, the drafting portion of the equation definitely paramount. And like if it's scintillating at SoFi or making memories, even this upcoming season, the drafted players. I mean, there are going to be some undrafted players who make the Minnesota Vikings. Some will make the practice squad. Some, one, maybe 2, maybe more, but probably 1 or 2, could make the active 53, the final 53. But there are 3. It's like when you put all of this together and you're thinking, all right, the when is going to be next season. And the how is going to involve these factors, these facets of the 2026 Minnesota Vikings. From the draft standpoint, the rookies that, I mean, with the right to change this opinion when we start watching them at the joint practices against Baltimore, there could be some changes here. But as we go in mid-June, Caleb Banks, Jacoby Thomas, DeMond Claiborne.
Yeah.
Those are three that are first and foremost on my mind. And it's with no disrespect to Big Citrus, to Dominic Orange, who actually played with our 11 a.m. guest, Jalen Travis. They played together at Iowa State. Looking forward to seeing what he thought of Big Citrus when they played together. But Caleb Banks, with where you selected him, where he plays, and what you're trying to accomplish, I mean, you can go back and think about last year with the Seattle Seahawks and Byron Murphy II. You know, he wasn't a rookie, but they made a move. Nolan Teasley and Trent Kirchner, an assistant general manager, they were part of that covenant. So the ideas that were formulated there for fortifying the trenches and finding the right quarterback paid off. They had to wait a very short amount of time, but they were able to win a Super Bowl. So Caleb Banks, the Florida rookie, has to hit. Yep. We're talking about climbing to the top of the metaphorical mountain and doing it like this year. Now, I'm not gonna stake X amount percent of my 401k that's going to happen this year, but for the when and or the how, if in any way you believe or want the when to be now, that has to shine in quasi defensive rookie of the year like fashion.
Yep.
Jacoby Thomas, the safety, he's very intriguing to me. Now, in watching all 3 days of minicamp and seeing a little bit of the organized team activities, I've seen Thomas run around and do some things, but like when you're next to him or you listen to him get coached up or hear him talk to teammates and stuff, this kid cares. I mean, he really, really wants to have revealed to him the nuance and, the tricks that go into taking what would be surface level for some and taking it to the next level. Now, there's a real opportunity for Jacoby Thomas to play a lot. And, what's interesting, the deeper you dive into what the Miami Hurricanes did last year, maybe a little longer, but last year in getting to the national championship game and losing to Mendoza and the Hoosiers, is there are facets of that defense where you absolutely can tell somebody came up with the idea that we need to trick them. That occasionally during the course of games, maybe not the national championship game, but games, we want to do some things that Brian Flores is doing with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, it's hard to learn, so scholars of the game required, but I've seen some Miami Hurricane defensive clips that included Jacoby Thomas making big plays where you have 7 strewn across the line of scrimmage, play after play. And it's clear somebody watched what was happening here, and maybe with Steve Spagnuolo to a certain extent with Kansas City, and attempted to emulate it. Now, not as a full-time bit, but as a mixer. So Jacoby Thomas was part of that. So I think he's farther ahead with what the expectations are here from that position, a very important position in Brian Flores' defense. So Caleb Banks having some defensive rookie of the year to him, well, that would be nice. And that would also help elevate you if the when is going to be now. Jacoby Thomas fits like a glove if he picks it all up quickly enough. And then you get DeMond Claiborne. Now, this was a 6th-round draft pick, and generally speaking, laying on 6th-round skill position guys as a separator will get you burned more than it won't. So this is not usurping in totality Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason's money. That's not it. I just have the feeling from what I saw at minicamp and things that I and we have heard after he was drafted, and I'm going to bring this up with the Scribe about 15 minutes from now, is I'm getting to the point, and I could be wrong here, that not only do I think the Wake Forest product makes the team, I think he plays. Now, I'm not sure how much, because, again, I mean, Jones and Mason are going to get the lion's share. Claiborne has some shifty to him, man, that, there obviously are reasons that a lot of teams felt he was not draft worthy on, say, day 2. Instead, he went rather deeply on day 3. All right, well, whatever those are, they need to be dealt with. And he is undersized. So maybe a lot of that plays into it. I'm just telling you right now, and Alec Lewis was the first to put me and us on this with The Athletic and theathletic.com, is so some of these jump cuts and this burst after a cut, it's unique, it's abnormal, and you just don't see it from 6th-round skill position guys too frequently. So not only do I feel he makes the team, but I feel he's going to be a mixer that people like in certain situations.
Yeah.
So Nordo started with drafting.
You need it.
And with Caleb Banks, Jacoby Thomas, and Devon Claiborne, those are 3 on whom I will be focusing as part of the how. As part of the how to get you to the when. And if the when is to be soon, there are other facets that need to transpire. Like, you got to have the right coach. Well, the head coach has been to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. So the head coach knows what it's like to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. And there are ancillary coaches within the staff who can say the same thing. You can even get down to the trainer, the leader of the sports performance department, Tyler Williams, incredibly well respected within NFL circles. Well, he knows how to piece them together all the way up to that metaphorical mountain. Defensively, Brian Flores has a handful of rings. So he saw it. He knows what goes into it. And having the right quarterback, as Captain Obvious would share, but nevertheless, it's like a cliche. Cliches are cliches because they stand the test of time, because they were uttered at one point and they always matter. And having the right quarterback obviously is very key. See Seattle last year. Now, that situation, at least for those of us on the outside, has been anything but easy to figure out. Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz. Do they have the right quarterback for the long haul? If they don't have the right singular quarterback for the long haul, I do like that they can go 3 deep to fix problems or handle injuries. So the coaching situation is something about which I feel good. The quarterback situation is it's a work in progress where we're going to watch, we're going to follow, and we will learn rather quickly whether we have the right quarterback to help the team achieve the climb to the top of the metaphorical mountain as part of the how. Maybe the when is hopefully sooner than many expect. Staying healthy. Seattle was amazingly healthy in all the right spots last year with the right quarterback, with the right coaching staff, and with the right drafting mechanisms and the drafting approach that may not hit immediately like you draft in 2024, bam, 2025, gotcha. 2025, gotcha in 2026. But with the bevy of youthful exuberance and staying healthy in all the right spots with a high-end coaching staff with McDonald, Leslie Frazier et al., and the right quarterback. We had the right quarterback. They got the right quarterback. And finally, it doesn't have to be this way every single year. It's so incredibly important to get that 1 seed, to be able to have that time off and not deal with the wild card round. I mean, if you could get that 1 seed and have a time before the divisional round to get squared away, cross the proverbial T's and dot all of the symbolic I's, that really, really helps over the course of time. It proves itself out.
It proves itself out just getting those games at home, too.
It's a major advantage. So that's from the how and when standpoint. I can't make a call on the when, but some of those factors play into the how, and they all have to go together. That's how hard it is to win the Super Bowl. Talkbacks on a Northern Fire Talker Tuesday, and here they are.
And actually winning it is where we finally decide that the team starts off with the lines. It all starts at the offensive and defensive lines. All kinds of quarterbacks won the Super Bowl that aren't Hall of Fame great quarterbacks. Why? Because they had great offensive lines.
Well said. Darisaw has to be and should be dramatically different than he was last year. And that's if only if he plays a majority, if not all the games. The in and out situation with him last year seemed to be incredibly frustrating for many, deeply rooted within the Minnesota Vikings covenant. But look at Seattle. I mean, it's prisoner of the moment terrorism, no doubt about it. And it's what we just saw. But NDSU buys a nation go crazy.
Yeah.
Gray Zabel made a massive difference for that football team. And left to right, left tackle to right tackle, I mean, they don't have the most ballyhooed offensive lineman in the NFL.
I think they had a second Bison. It's like Jalen Sundell or something like that may have been playing center for him as well.
Yeah, they don't have the most highly touted offensive line in the NFL. But the part of the how to get you to the when, outside of the right coach, the right coaching staff, the right quarterback, staying healthy, hopefully getting a 1 seed so you can have those home games with a little time off, is getting a group that gels and becomes cohesive in ways that maybe even those who drafted them didn't see coming. It's like, we thought it would be good. Holy cow, do these guys complement each other well. And then defensively, I just thought it was really interesting in a draft during an offseason where Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, a couple of well-respected veterans, leave. And then there was some Twitter situation where somebody posted something about defensive tackles in Brian Flores' scheme, and like it got a like or a retweet or something like that from Javon Hargrave. So it was like, dog, I agree with you. So then 9 to noon starts thinking, I mean, are defensive tackles, are interior defensive linemen minimized or not as important in Brian Flores' defense as maybe some other defenses, like Philadelphia with those Georgia creatures when they were winning the Super Bowl, Kansas City with Chris Jones, New England with Vince Wilfork. It just goes on and on and on. Well, then the Vikings come out and 2 of their higher draft picks are interior defensive linemen, Caleb Banks and Dominic Orange. So that's kind of like Javon heard what you said. It's stupid, and we're going to draft these people because we feel they're going to be better than you at this stage of your career.
Yeah.
It's all part of the how to get you to the when.
What do you think about on that draft train? And it's tough to predict, but the how is it clicks for a couple of young cats. If you remember Daniil Hunter's, raw, just lack of understanding the scheme, just a kid trying to grow, super young, and then it clicked, and he shows up to camp about twice the physical size, and then he was off to the races.
Right.
If you think about the Seahawks, they had a combination of it clicking for Byron Murphy. You mentioned him. Clicking for Kobe Bryant. Really, it clicked the year before, but as he entered a contract year, I think he just got paid a fair amount of money with a new team, i.e. the Bears.
Yeah, he left because of the millionaire's tax on the horizon.
I always love that one.
Wanted to keep some of his money, didn't he?
Illinois might be the wrong state for that, too. Nick Emanwari, like it's just the young kids and it's clicking. So it's almost like the how could be, it's not just those new cats in the middle, but it clicks in year 3 now with the opportunity Dallas Turner has. It clicks on the offensive line and Blake Brandel for the first time in his career dominating all of his work efforts into the center position. It clicks.
Yeah. Like
the guy that jumps. And if it seems like you have to get a few of those happening at the same time.
Yep.
Which is kind of then an extension to your draft conversation. Let's find a talk back.
Kobe Bryant's like, I heard the cons say Illinois is not the greatest state to relocate to if I want to keep my money with that diseased millionaire's tax in Washington, which is on the horizon. But he forgot we're going to play in Indiana.
Oh, Kevin Warren strikes again. Talkbacks.
Hey, Paul, Alan and Afton.
Hey.
If we want to stop being a feeder market for everybody else, one of our teams is just going to have to decide to go all the way to the bottom and rebuild. whether it's the Vikings, the Wild,
He's right.
or even the Wolves, we are reluctant to strip it down to start over. We do just enough to be just good enough to just make the playoffs, to just lose later.
That's the Northern Fire winner until it's not. He nailed it. I mean, it's not to say decide to bottom out. That would be about the only part of it that would be difficult to me. Now, there are teams that decide to. It's when you're in the position that three of the core four are, with the Timberwolves, superstar and Anthony Edwards, the Minnesota Wild shipped all in on Kaprizov, and Boldy is Olympic immortality, and you trade for Husey, and you got Fabesy. I mean, so for that team to go from where it is, good but not good enough, to the bottom, that's going to be really difficult. But it makes sense what he said, because you almost need to be really bad before you can get really good. I mean, Seattle, I don't recall Seattle, the Seahawks, being really, really, really bad during the Geno Smith days.
They weren't. But,
I mean, they had non-playoff years. So they were kind of a tweener that, in thread-the-needle-like fashion, put a few things together and got there. But that was a very good talkback.
That's the tough thing. Well, okay, we can chat about it with Ben Gessling.
Scribe joins us next.
This is not